with me and Dan. I do apologise first of all. The signal is probably going to be atrocious because somebody's internet might be mine.
It's not
really
me.
bad this evening. Good evening, Dan.
Hello, you're right. You've gone already. This is already a disaster. My tash is still there, yeah. Still looking absolutely disgraceful. Still looking like I don't even know what I look like. I'm sick of looking at myself, to be honest. I've had to get rid of all the mirrors in my house.
And you cut your finger as well. Anyway, let's get on to the main talking points. That is Brighton, Colin Calderwood being appointed, getting some of your questions in, and of course, sitting with Jar and the channel updates. Let's start with the Brighton game, Dan, and let's get your thoughts on the Brighton result and performance.
If you'd offered me a draw before the game, I would have definitely taken that because obviously Brighton are riding high in the Championship. But it was one of the best performances I've seen Villa put on for years. I was really, really happy with the performance. There's a lot of positives to take and like a tinge of regret in the way that we conceded a goal right on half time, which was a bit frustrating, and the fact that we did completely outplay them in the second half. And if we were a bit more clinical, we'd have been walking away with 3 points. But I'm not going to complain, and I'm not going to complain about what Steve Bruce has achieved in his first 6 games because, quite frankly, he's done a great job, and we could have only dreamt of a performance like that away at Brighton a few weeks ago. If we'd have played that game under Di Matteo, we'd have got absolutely rolled over. So I think it's only positives that we can take from that game, really.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a really pleasing performance for us. I think that everything about it in the second half was spot on. And we should have won it, in fairness. We had plenty. But as you say, luck wasn't on our side. As per usual, we hit the crossbar. Then we hit the post as well. And had numerous chances. We had about 8 corners in a row as well. Which, in fairness, the deliveries were good as well. So it's not like we weren't putting in good deliveries from these corners.
No, we deserve more. But sometimes in football, you don't get what you deserve. Arguably, there's been other games where we perhaps should have got beat. Probably maybe Birmingham, we could have lost. Wolves, I think we definitely should have lost in Steve Bruce's first game. And obviously we got a penalty in stoppage time against Reading. So we have had a bit of good luck in fairness since Bruce has come in. So I'm not going to complain about luck. It's more important that we focus on how good the performance was because we did outplay what is a very, very good Championship outfit.
Well, I thought it was the best performance of our season by far. I think the intensity that we showed is going to be something really important because we could have gone on for another 90 minutes like fitness-wise on Friday night and Brighton looked totally out of it. So I think plenty of positives, and I think it did help as well that we had the upper hand through the likes of Albert Adoma, who was absolutely fantastic for me.
He was good. He was very good. Obviously it's the best he's played as well. He was a bit in and out at the start through injuries and stuff when he first came in, but he's picking up and he's getting better with every game, like a lot of the players. But the good thing is that we've actually got a squad now. We can afford not to start Grealish, not to start Ayew, and we've still got a strong team and we've got options to bring off the bench. I thought Grealish was excellent when he came on. I think when he came on, we really took it up another gear, and it was good to see him start to shoot a bit more from range as well because he was causing them problems, and maybe that's one fault in his game is that he takes too long and doesn't shoot often enough. But all in all, I'm very positive, and I'm very positive in the direction we're heading. But that good point at Brighton counts for nothing unless we get 3 points on Saturday, which is a must for us to stay in touch with the top 6. Can't hear you, Matt. Still can't hear you. Are you back?
It was a 0-0 draw last time we played Cardiff.
I remember
so obviously this time we need to actually get a win because, let's face it, we need to get some wins on the board now. We're 5 points off Norwich, who are in 6th place, but there's 10 places between us. And it was already the case of mind the gap in terms of league position. But really, we're not that far. And I think we are probably one of the best sides in form at the moment. And with a solid centre-back partnership like we've got with Nathan Baker and James Chester, we can't really go wrong, hopefully, defensively.
Yeah, and if you look at it as well, teams like Norwich, they're a bit in free fall. They're in bad form, so they're on their way down the table. Meanwhile, we've picked up and hit a bit of form. So we're on our way up. So it will level out, and I think you'll know more probably in January about where we are and what we can hope for. The first is 100% gone. That's not going to happen. There's a very, very outside chance of second if we can string a massive run together. But there's no reason why this team can't get in the playoffs. This team now should definitely be getting in the top 6 in my eyes because we are a strong outfit, and going somewhere like Brighton, who are second, and playing them off the park only shows that.
So you're actually admitting now, despite raised eyebrows in recent weeks to me saying we're going to make the playoffs, you're actually admitting now we will make the playoffs.
I raised eyebrows 6 weeks ago when you said you were 98% sure that we would reach the top six, which was a wild shout because there's no way anyone could have said that at the time. But having seen Bruce's first 6 games and seeing where we're at now, that's what we've got to aim for, and that's where we should be, in my opinion. It's just a shame, obviously, what seems now that we didn't have an astute manager in at the start, because that start's probably cost us any chance of getting automatic promotion. Which, again, with this squad, you look at the team on paper and the performances recently, we should definitely be up there. But it can only get better from now, I think, and I think we're going to keep heading in the right direction.
Next point along the lines of Brighton is Colin Calderwood being appointed. Perhaps disrupted them very slightly, the fact he resigned on Friday morning. How good of an appointment is that? Because obviously you've seen him play at Villa. I haven't. Was he good then? And can he be good for us now?
I think I was about 15 or 14 maybe when Calderwood came in. He came in at a time when we'd obviously spent a lot of the season top of the league under John Gregory. And then we hit, as Villa usually do when they're doing well, a horrendous, awful run where we couldn't buy a win. We were looking sloppy at the back and we couldn't score. And he actually came in and went in alongside Gareth Southgate, and he shored us up because Ekiog got a bad eye injury when Alan Shearer kicked him in the face, I think it was. So he shored us up, and then we went on a decent run. So he steadied us a bit, and then he started off the next season in the team, and we got off to a good start. And then he lost his place, and I think we sold him in the January or February. He went to Forest for regular first-team football. I think at the end of the day, we've weakened a championship rival, and we've strengthened ourselves. I mean, we took our sweet time getting in at number 2, which in a way I'm quite pleased to see, because it means Bruce is getting in the right people and he's getting in the people he wants to work with. He said himself that once he knew Calderwood was interested, it was a no-brainer, and he was who they wanted in. So Calderwood, he did good work at Birmingham as assistant to Hugh, and he was doing good work at Brighton. So we've got an astute guy at this level again, which is what we need, and hopefully Calderwood will work out better than Steve Clarke did as an assistant, because I had very high hopes for Steve Clarke, but for whatever reason, it didn't work. So I'm hoping that Calderwood could be the man with Bruce, and that they'll complement each other and be a good team. The only slight issue is that it's a former centre-back as a manager and a former centre-back as an assistant, but then Clements was more of an attacking player, so maybe you've got him to balance out the coaching team. But I'd certainly expect us to be pretty tight at the back with those two in charge.
Well, you'd hope so, and I think it's a major point about recent times before. I think it's going to be a valuable appointment, because I'm not sure if Bruce is the coaching team in place, even if Steve Bruce was to say leave, for example.
I'm sure what you just said was absolutely excellent, but I didn't catch a word of it. All I heard was Steve Bruce at the end. Right.
I said that. Is this a club appointment?
A club appointment? I think it is a club appointment, but I think it's probably a bit of both. It will be a club appointment, because obviously that's what Steve Round's been brought in to do. That's his job, to identify people, and he's obviously sounded out someone like Calderwood and found out that he's available. And he's obviously put it to Bruce, and Bruce is happy with it. So it'll be a joint effort, but I think it's the club that are identifying these kind of people. But the manager will have a say in it. If Bruce hadn't wanted Calderwood, there's no way that he would have been brought in. So Bruce would have definitely had to have a say. And to be honest, it's a decent way of doing it. If Bruce is happy, the club's happy, then there's not really anyone you can blame if it goes wrong, because they're both giving it the sign off.
Yeah. Totally. Not much really else really say about Calderwood, other than another really important. Along the lines, Gary Walker's also been appointed as goalkeeper. Yeah. But moving swiftly on, the great idea that we've had of this Sitting with Jar thing. How great is this for the fans? That sort of interaction with our owner, because I think it's pretty incredible, to say the least, that he's willing to do this.
He's very brave because you could end up with any old nutcase sat next to him at the games. It's certainly unique because I don't think you'll see many clubs in the top 2 tiers offering supporters a chance to sit with their owner. It does seem a bit madness, but I'm all for it. It shows what a great guy he is, and it shows that he's willing to interact with the fans. And as I say, he's very brave because some of the people I've sat with at Villa Park, I wouldn't want to sit with for 90 minutes again. So he could end up with anyone, but it's a great initiative by the club, and it does show how far the club is going now to try and build bridges with the fans after 5 years of absolute dismay between the two parties, really. So I think it's good. I don't think you can knock the board or the owner for anything they've done so far. I think everything they've done has been positive, and we couldn't have asked any more of them.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, hopefully it's going to be good to continue.
Matt, your internet is an absolute disgrace. I'm going to apologise to everyone who's watching on behalf of Matt, because this is shambolic. He's gone away. He's won an award, and he's come back and thinks that he doesn't need to have decent internet, which is not the case, and this is unacceptable. Making us all look like amateurs. Right, I'm going to fill some time because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Better? I can hear that. Talk again. This is absolute amateur hour. I'm going to roll through and see if anyone's asked any decent questions. People fire some questions in because this is a farce without some questions. Right, Matt's gone now. Right, so someone's asked, I think it was Jacob Fernell, asked how are we going to cope without Codger and Ayew in the African nations when they go to that in January. I think it much depends on injuries. If we pick up any injuries around that time as well, then obviously we're going to be in trouble, especially in front areas. I mean, we've got the players to cover it, as you saw on Friday, by bringing Ayew in, bringing Grealish in off the bench.
Hello.
But in a way, Codger's irreplaceable because he's our main goal scorer. I don't see anyone hitting the amount of goals that he's going to score for us. Arguably, McCormack's shown in the past that he was capable, but we haven't seemed able to find the right role for him so far, especially since Bruce has come in. So it's difficult to know what's going to happen. That's obviously why he's brought Gabby back into the fray, and you'd like to think as well that Andre Green and Hepburn Murphy will be in with a shout of some game time around then as well, and hopefully they'll prove themselves. I mean, I've seen that we've been linked with Abel Hernandez. He'd cost between 15 and 20 mil, so I don't see, it's just lazy journalism, in my opinion. I mean, now I've said that, we'll probably sign him, but there's no way that I can see us spending that big money on another striker when we've spent 15 million on Codger. We've spent 12 million on McCormack. Like, I can't see that we're going to go there and spend mega money on another striker. I think it is just lazy journalism of a player that obviously we were linked with in the summer, who I think that we did want and was our first choice, but then we got Codger. And again, also because he's played under Bruce, obviously he's going to be linked to us, but there's no way I can see that happening.
Back.
You're back. Carry on.
It's going to turn into an audio phone in. Anyway, so we are talking questions that have been sent in to us. I believe you've just answered one about Codger, Dan.
Yeah.
One of the next question is, what's happening with Tishibola? He's playing tonight as we speak for the under-21s, but he is under-23s even, but he isn't actually getting noticed when it comes to the first team. Do you reckon this is fitness, or do you reckon Bruce just doesn't think he's up to the standards?
I think he probably just prefers the other midfielders at the moment. I mean, he must like him in some respects because he started him in his first game, so he obviously saw something in him. But in that game, he didn't perform. It was not a good display from him. Him and Yednat were in trouble in the middle of the park for the whole 90 minutes there. I think it's just a case of Gardner's come in and looked better than him in the game he first came in, and then he's obviously gone and built a little bit of form. Bakuna came in and offered some energy and looked good, and maybe that's what he wanted from Tishabola. So I think it's just a case of people are ahead of him at the moment. But his chance will definitely come at some point. I just think he's got to be patient. He's still only young. I don't think he probably came in expecting to start every week. So his time will come. I think he will be a good player. I think he maybe just hit a little rut in form, and Bruce wanted to take him out the firing line, and others have performed, so he hasn't felt he can bring him back in.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be a key man eventually for us, because he's definitely got the ability. And as you say, Ashley Westwood's had a bit of a turn in form, and obviously Gary Gardner's done so as well.
I got to admit, I'm a Westwood fan, but I didn't think he was great on Friday.
I thought he was good. I thought he was better than he's been. He pressed more, and I think he suits more of a pressing role.
I thought he pressed well, but I don't know. I just didn't think. I can't think of anything that stands out from me where I thought it was a good performance. But then, obviously, people who don't like him will say that's what happens every week. But I like him, and I didn't think he was at his best on Friday.
I've got no video.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
But it's sounding fine though.
Yeah.
I do apologise once again to anyone that did want to see my face. I'm sure you didn't anyway, so that's all fine. Next question is from
could disappear.
David Cassisi, who said, good performance against Brighton. Will Bruce turn our fortune, and could we make automatic promotion? We're on 22 points and second in the table. We've sort of really discussed that, haven't we? I
can't see it.
I can't see it, to be honest.
It would take a mega run, absolute mega run.
I reckon we're capable of it, personally. I think it could happen. But I think, as you say, we have missed the boat, I think, just because of the early form consistency. We were really poor.
That's a fact. Yeah. No one's getting near Newcastle. They're unplayable at the moment.
Somebody's giving me stick for my internet. Richard Taylor. It's not my fault that the internet's this bad.
Well, it's not mine. It's not Richie Taylor's fault either. I agree with him. Has he gone again?
No. Okay. It's fine. It's audio. Cool. It's fine. So I don't know what it is. But anyway, a few more questions I understand we have got. So let's try and whistle through what other people have been saying on the live stream about the game and whatever else. But we've had a few questions in. We've touched on the African Cup of Nations, haven't we?
Yeah, I did that. I covered that while you were gone.
I do think it'll be Codger will miss most, just because I think we're capable of coping without some of the others, but I don't think we're capable of coping without Codger.
He's the main goal scorer. We'll struggle unless Hepburn Murphy comes in, and because he strikes me as being a bit more of a natural goal scorer than perhaps some of the other players we have. Unless he comes in and really hits the ground running, I think it will be a bit of a struggle to replace Codger.
Yeah. What do you think about where we need to strengthen in January?
Maybe central mid still. Jedinak is now. I mean, credit to him again for the other night, because I thought he was phenomenal, considering he's travelling in the week and to come in and play 90 minutes at that level, as I say, against a very good team and look that comfortable was testament to him, and credit to him for that. I mean, obviously we saw him sleeping on the mannequin challenge thing afterwards. I'd say maybe someone next to him, but then we'd probably have to be shifting one of our midfielders if we did bring another one in. No name springs to mind. I think Conor Horahan, mentioned by quite a lot of people. I think we do miss a genuine goal scoring central midfielder. I think that is something Villa have lacked for a long time. I think Tom Cleverley had a brief run where he scored 3 games in a row for us under Tim Sherwood, but we've not had that goal scoring central midfielder since probably Ian Taylor for me, and that was a very long time ago.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he was probably the last one. James Milner as well, in fairness.
Yeah, but actually when he played central mid, that's true. I've forgotten about that. He was very good in central mid. I'd love to have a player like him now, but I can't see that happening.
Do you think that the 3-man midfield is something we have to stick with? I saw somebody who's commented saying, yeah, Jedinak with Gardner. To me, you have to play both of them as well as Westwood, or at least the 3 men.
I think it varies. I think probably against Cardiff on Saturday, you'll see Grealish come back in behind the strikers, and I think we will probably go Jedinak and Gardner or Jedinak and Westwood. I think it varies from game to game what you need. I mean, obviously, when you go into places like Leeds, Norwich and QPR, you probably will need a 3-man midfield, but it is on a game-by-game basis. I don't think you can be tied to one formation, because although we looked good in 4-3-3 against Brighton, when Grealish came on and we went 4-2-3-1, we looked so dangerous going forward, and Grealish up against perhaps tired legs that I don't think you can rule out any system. There might be some games where you can afford to go 4-4-2 and play the two men up front, maybe Gusted and Codger. I don't think you can afford at the top level to be tied down to just one system. You need to be flexible, and I think Steve Bruce has shown that so far.
Yeah, totally. I think that is the case. Along the lines of that, just for me, just off the top of my head, what can you see Gusted only being a bench player? Do you reckon when it comes to the Africa Cup of Nations, even he'll end up being first choice striker?
Is he definitely not going to the Africa Nations?
Definitely not going. Benin have not qualified.
He'll be needed. I think I was very harsh on him last season. When I look back, some of the stuff I said, it was perhaps too harsh. But I think he's better coming off the bench. For me, I think he looks more dangerous when he comes off the bench. He unsettles team. And some of the games where he has started, he hasn't looked with it. He doesn't. Sometimes he's a bit pedestrian. For me, I just think he works best as an impact player. But the occasional game, I'm not adverse to him starting, depending on who we're playing against. But I just do think at the moment, especially I'd want to see more of Codger playing through the middle, and I can only ever say he's playing one up front. I think Gusted is better as a bench option. I don't think you can play Gusted as a lone striker because I think he's too limited. He needs someone around him. Yeah,
I agree. I think he's too pedestrian, as you say, as you've touched on. And it's we need him there when we're late on in the game. We need to chuck him up front with a few of us so we can lump the ball towards him. Libor Kozak's playing again tonight for the under-23s. Where's he in all of this? Where's Russian Hepburn Murphy in all of this?
I think Hepburn Murphy's probably ahead of Kozak.
Yeah,
in the current.
I hope so.
And current form. I've forgotten. To be honest, until I saw he was playing tonight, I'd completely forgotten about him. I think he's just one of those ones we can just chalk off and say it hasn't worked. Not through anyone's fault, really. I think obviously he's had a couple of terrible injuries which have really, really held him back because he was okay when he first came in. He looked like he could not do much, but at least get you a few goals. He was a decent finisher, but I just don't see that he's ever going to get the chance for us again. I think we've bolstered our attack too much for someone like Kozak to ever get a game, and I'd expect to see him off the wage bill ASAP because I just don't think we're going to use him.
I agree. We're going to take two more questions. One of them has said, do we play Gabby as a midfielder?
What, on the wing or in midfield?
It just says midfield, so perhaps he could become like a central midfielder. I highly doubt that. Personally, I've always had people probably think I've got a bias view on Gabby because people know that I've got a distaste towards him. But I'm supportive of anyone that gets given a chance in the first team. For me, Gabby didn't do enough against Brighton to warrant a place again for a few more games at least.
He's one that again might work better as an impact player. I think I'd have rather seen him playing on the wing and Codger playing up front. To be honest, I think that perhaps will have worked better. But he's not fit. He's still not fit. He's obviously done well to get himself into the position where Bruce is willing to pick him, and Bruce is obviously a big fan of his. I mean, as we've said before, and we've been over Abon Hall hundreds of times. I'm slightly more forgiving than you are, although I do think he was an absolute disgrace last season. I'd love to think that he's going to come in, he's going to play, he's going to score goals for us. I don't think it's going to happen, but like you say, I will support him whilst he's on the pitch wearing the shirt, and if he's got Bruce's back and he's got my backing.
We've actually got two more questions left before we talk about the future of the Villa View and what's going to happen with it. So it is from Chris, both questions, and he said, do you feel priced out of football at the moment? It's an interesting topic in itself to think about. Personally, I don't feel priced out of football because when I go to games, I use Seatway for all my tickets, which means that I'm paying not much at all. I always use this as an example, but for the Rotherham game, I paid £4 for my ticket for the opening game of the season. Since then, this season, I think I've only spent about £45 on tickets, and I've been to every home game so far. So it's not too bad of a price I've really paid. I think when you look at season tickets, though, we are fairly expensive, I'd argue, for Championship football. I think it's okay, but I certainly think it could be a little bit cheaper. I think that when it comes to away games, though, we're getting taken advantage of.
Oh, yeah, that's going to happen now because we're going to be Category A every single time just by virtue of who we are. So if there's anything we can do about that, and I think we've possibly, I can't remember which team it was, but I think we've possibly overcharged
Newcastle.
a few teams as well. So I don't think we're in any position. I don't think we're in any position to spout stuff about that, to be honest. Everyone's circumstances are different, aren't they? I mean, for me, every game is an away game because I'm coming from London. Actually, the season ticket isn't the problem for me. I think we are reasonably priced, especially when we're in the Prem. I think we were very reasonably priced, although we were being served utter tripe for the last 5 years. But everyone, as I say, everyone's got different opinions. It depends what your job is. It depends what you do. It depends whether you're going home and away. I mean, my hat goes off to people that do the home and aways because that is real dedication and it must be really hard on your finances. But everyone will feel differently about it. If you ask my wife, she'll tell you it's too expensive. But if you ask me, I'll say it's okay.
Well, the way I see it is football is an entertainment industry, the same as you go to a concert or the theatre. And say if you go to, say, 2 West End performances in a year, that's potentially going to cost you upwards of £100 plus. Say if you go to, easily.
Comfortably.
Yeah. Same with if you go to a concert, for example, the cheapest Drake ticket was for £105 for his gig. If you go to 3 gigs a year that average out, say, about £80 a gig, you're still spending the same sort of money. And people don't blink an eye about that. Yeah, when it comes to football, it seems a massive issue about it. And I understand that it's a totally different mega industry of money. But I think, as you say, it's the circumstances. And it's lower down the order that I think we need to be looking at the price of tickets, like League 2 and League 1. Those are the prices.
I think Drake's probably all right for money.
Yeah, exactly. But you get what I mean, though.
No, I know.
Nobody's moaning as much about that as football.
Nah, football gets a bit of a raw deal. I mean, more of a problem to me is I think the prices players go for is absolutely obscene. But to be fair, we had to give away some of our players in the summer, so it doesn't really affect Villa.
No. The other question from Chris is along the lines of safe standing. Can you see it being introduced to Villa Park? If so, where? For me, personally, where? To me, it's got to be the Holt end in the one of the corners as such.
The Holt end? What's the Holt end? You said Holt funny. You said it funny. No. Okay.
No.
North stand would be the logical one for me because that's the one that looks like it's going to be getting redeveloped the soonest. So it would make sense.
Then, yeah, North stand 100%.
I don't know. I don't know whether it'll ever take off. I'm not against it, but I don't know whether they'll ever get the backing that it needs for it signed off by all the people that need to sign the idea off. I'm not sure it'll ever get through.
It's a tough one for me. I think that it would really work. But as you said, there's a lot of people it'd have to go through. And I know that the Premier League are looking into it again and opening up new inquiries into getting it sorted and whatever. But it's deeper than that when it comes to going obviously to the FA and then obviously the government that have got the overriding power about this issue. But it's safe standing.
I'm old enough to remember standing in the terraces. I used to have to take a milk crate to the game and stand on a milk crate. That's it's boring anyway. It's not very exciting for anyone to listen to.
Go on, Dan. The Chronicles of Dan Bardell as a child.
No, you don't want to know. But I think I fell off it once as well when we scored. So they weren't particularly safe either, to be fair.
So yeah, I think safe standing could well work at Villa Park. And I think that, first of all, the main focus needs to be at Villa Park is filling it again. Then let's worry about safe standing. Because I know people will argue that safe standing will bring fans back. I disagree anyway to that. Because our attendances have dropped dramatically over the past 10 years when it has been safe seating the whole time.
I don't think it's standing up that's caused the drop.
Yeah, I agree.
Drop in attendances.
I agree entirely, and I think that people are a bit disillusioned if they think that's an issue to why the attendances have dropped, not the quality of football over the past few years.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that is enough from the questions. Now it's time to discuss the Villa View and where we are actually heading in terms of what's upcoming and everything else. We want to know from you guys in the comments what you're enjoying about the Villa View at the moment and what you're not. You're obviously definitely not enjoying my current issues when it comes to internet. That's a major issue, but that is something that we can't actually resolve yet. But I'm back for Christmas soon, which means my internet will be back to normal. But what do you want us to do? What do you want to see the Villa View do? Let us know. Do you want to see us maybe do a tour of like around by Villa Park? Or what?
Shave moustaches off.
Yeah. Just do a live video of you shaving off the moustache.
Just counting down the days, believe me.
Yeah.
Absolutely can't wait.
Yeah, we want to know what you want to see the channel do differently. and how can we improve? Because we're nearing on a year of the Villa View being around, and we want to thank you all for supporting the channel, because it's amazing where we're at this moment. We've done so well to be at the stage now. We're at 4,162 subscribers as we speak, and we want to make that grow even more. So how can we do that? By the support of you guys and what you want to see. So if you're not subscribing already, subscribe and post notifications on. But comment below what you want to see us doing.
It's probably not the best time to be asking people to subscribe when it looks like I'm just talking to someone in the dark. We're hardly selling ourselves.
Well, that's an issue that will be sorted eventually.
Okay.
So basically, the comments section as well on videos, we want to make it so we'll interact with people a bit more. So we're interacting with all the fans a bit more. We're going to comment a lot more and responding to every question that you may ask or any comment you may have. Somebody said about the fan cams. What do you want to see us do differently with the fan cams? Let us know. We've tried the idea of doing individual videos for each fan cam, and to me, it didn't work. And I know to our producer and everything else to do with the Villa View, Dan Rolinson, who is everything that is the Villa View today, said it doesn't work. And I agree, I don't think it does work. So we want to know what you do differently. Somebody said they'd love to do some meetup. I'm unsure about that one.
Love to do
meetup.
What kind of meetup?
I don't know. I don't get that. What does that even mean? Can you tell us?
Please.
Yeah. I'd love to know.
People asking about interviewing the players. We are trying to do that. That is something that we are working on.
It's something that we might get updates on in the future. We never know. But anyway, yeah, comment below what you want us to do. Explain in full detail as well. Don't just put fan cams, because that means nothing to me. Let us know in detail what you want us to do differently, because that will help us massively. I do apologise about the internet, but if you haven't enjoyed the video, drop us a like below. Comment below what you thought about it. Please don't slate the internet, though. That is all for today, though.
Please do.
Better internet very soon.
Bye.